Shabbat Shalom, family. It's good to see you all here. I hope you're doing well. We're going to talk about the collapse of the job market. The job market is in dire condition. You can go online and see all kinds of people telling you they have put in hundreds or even over 1,000 applications and have not been getting a single phone call back. Now, I want to show you something. Some of you may remember this. Okay. Now, this woman, her name is Erica McIntyre, and she was responsible for putting out the job statistics every single week. This is what you would hear on the news. You would hear how many people are on unemployment, how many new jobs opened up, how many Americans were hired for jobs. And the jobs report comes out weekly. Donald Trump fired her, and now it's very clear why. The jobs market has gotten worse under Donald Trump than it was under Joe Biden. So to try to hide that, he fired this woman. And you can see it out online. I can't tell you how many videos that I have done just researching this one topic of how many people keep saying they can't find work. And it's a lot of white people that cannot find work. And it was never like that before. When things would slow down or there was a recession going on, they make sure white people have work and continue to work. They wouldn't care about the rest of us. But now it has gotten so bad, they can't even find work. Many of them have been out of work for a year or even more, and they can't find nothing. Y'all, this is a sign of the times. We are definitely in these final days. You know, these folks can't find work because this is it. This place is done. It really, truly is. And it's not a coincidence that Three Eye Atlas showed up at this same time when this place was falling. Some economists are saying we have been actually in a recession for going on a year. Now, remember, Donald Trump won the election in November of 2024. We're in October. October is almost over practically. And they said for practically a year, we have been in a recession. But you know, Donald Trump ain't gonna call no recession because he don't want to be responsible. The people don't believe in no accountability. They don't believe in that. So anytime you see it this bad, they said the last time it was this bad was 50 years ago, which would have been 1975. They said that was the last time the job market looked the way that it does today. I tell you what, when the Most High says it's over, y'all. It's over. Okay. He said these are the final days. It's over. So let's get into the videos. Here. Now, let me tell y'all something that they have notoriously done to Latinos, especially the illegals. What they'll do is they will hire them. And this is prevalent in construction all over the country. If they got a bunch of illegals working for them, y'all, what they will do is wait until the work is practically all done or it's complete. And the construction owners will call ICE and have all of the illegals taken away and deported. You know why they do this? So they don't have to pay them. This is a very prevalent thing that has been going on in this country for years. And it's so funny because who do these Latinos favor? The same people that are doing that to them. So whenever they don't want to pay them or they want to get rid of a particular person, they call ICE on them. A lot of these businesses around the country will do that when they got done using them up and they don't want to pay them anything else. And they've been getting away with doing this for years, but hey, then on the other hand, I don't feel bad for them. That's what they get. They come in this country all nasty and hating us. So, hey, it is what it is. One thing you can't do is put it on us. We didn't do it to you. All right. So let me share my screen so we can get started. Okay. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. They don't have a lot of money. They may have a little bit more. These Latinos don't have it like, I mean, yeah, the government has given them money, but it ain't like what you think. They ain't got it like that, quite not like that. You don't see an overwhelming amount of them out here with businesses. In fact, there are none around me with businesses. They may have jobs, but they don't have any businesses opened around here. Not where I am, at least. Thank you, everybody. Oh, yeah, the government got tons of money. And yeah, and they sure know how to withhold it from us. They don't want to give us reparations, but they got money for everything else. Oh, one more thing. Speaking of money, y'all know Donald Trump has been off the coast of Venezuela and he's been bombing the ships. Well, Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, was bombed by the US. And a lot of people now think that that's a sign that the US is entering war with Venezuela. Donald Trump, you got to understand, Venezuela, I was reading, have a huge oil reserve. Trust me, if they go after a country, it's something in that country they want. And they know it's almost like the same thing we see all the time, just like the US and Iraq, the US and Afghanistan. They always want to go after these countries that are small and really don't have the military to fight the US. So we may get into that a little later, but I certainly can't do anything now during the Sabbath. But after the Sabbath is over, I might do one more live stream to show y'all what's going on over there. It's getting worse. They got those Osprey helicopters they just took in there a few days ago. They got B-52 bombers, naval carrier just went in there, another one that Pete Hegseth sent over to the Caribbean. It's a mess. And the sad part is if it does turn into a full-fledged war, some of those islands will probably get hit because they're really close to Venezuela. And it wouldn't take much for a missile or anything to misfire and go in the direction of those islands. So it puts a lot of people in danger. It really, truly does. All right, y'all, let's get started.
Back in April, Mount Baker Roofing Company in Washington hired 37 undocumented workers so they could finish their roofing job. They hired 37 undocumented men, and then when the job was done, they called ICE and had them all detained so they didn't have to pay them. 37 men, all lost their entire lives, got separated from their families, all because a selfish roofing company in Washington decided to call ICE on them after they finished a job for them. 37 men, all lost their entire lives. Got separated from their families.
Prices have not come down at all. The job market is extremely difficult. Wages have not gone up. Health insurance is going up. Home insurance goes up. Rent is going up. Young people have no hope of buying a home. End quote.
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Correct.
So in today's news of As the White Hood Turns, economists are now predicting that we have hit a recession. Like we knew it was coming, but apparently it is here. So they are reporting that there has been a complete slowdown in the jobs market. Manufacturing is not making the comeback that he told MAGA that it would make. We all heard about him firing the director of the BLS because she reported accurate jobs numbers. He didn't like them, so he fired her. And basically, the economy is tanking daily. But what makes me giggle a little bit, because we're all feeling it, so I'm not laughing at them necessarily, but this article is referring to it as the redneck recession. Because the people who are going to be hit the hardest with this is basically his entire MAGA base. I'm not talking about the millionaire and billionaire class of this. They only make up about 1% of the MAGA base, right? The remainder of it is working class, what is referred to as lower middle class, rural voters. They're the ones who are suffering the most. But the problem is, it's not like nobody told them that this was coming. And yet they still chose to believe the con man in chief. He's over here robbing Peter and ain't giving a fuck about Paul. All that money he's making on his side deals, his crypto deals and all of that. The only thing that is actually doing well right now is AI. And if you own stocks in any companies that are tied to anything to do with artificial intelligence, yeah, you're going to see some money in your portfolio. You're going to see some really good long-term gains. But them people out there ain't got that. And they just announced that they're going to cut out a whole bunch of food that people can purchase on their EBT cards. Nothing. You're not going to be able to buy chips. You're not going to be able to buy any of those little cartons of fruity drinks and anything like Kool-Aid. None of that. Nothing with refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup. All of those things are no longer going to be able to be purchased. So those people who are getting quite a bit of money on their EBT cards, once they have to reapply, they're about to find out that the only thing you're going to be able to afford on that is some cabbage, maybe a couple of tomatoes, and a bunch of ground beef. Okay, goodbye.
It's not you. There are no more jobs. And the few that there are, you're competing with 5 million other people, and they're requiring that you offer up your firstborn and already come with 45 years of experience.
Concerns are mounting over the U.S. labor market after August's jobs report revealed stark weakness, with non-farm payrolls rising by just 22,000, far below the anticipated 75,000, and the unemployment rate remaining at 4.3%, unchanged from the previous month. This tepid growth could mean a potential stall, raising fears of recessionary pressures signaled by cooling hiring and rising layoffs. which hit their highest level since 2020.
The latest jobs report is so bad that not even Fox News is able to spin it. Only 22,000 jobs were added in August, whereas experts were expecting 75,000. What's even worse is the fact that through revisions to the past several months, jobs reports are also brutal. But take a look at Fox News having nothing to say about these terrible numbers. There's no way they can possibly spin this.
Here, private payrolls coming in. The expectation was 75,000. We got 38,000, and there was a loss of 16,000 jobs in government, which I think Laura mentioned. But again, that 22,000 number, Charles, it's a weaker than expected number, and these revisions are pretty brutal.
Think about how terrible this truly is. Just a few months ago, we were seeing job growth in the hundreds of thousands. Now, because of Trump's reckless tariffs and other horrible policies, the labor market is deteriorating. Unemployment is climbing back up to 4.3%. And sectors that are supposed to drive growth like manufacturing and trade are also losing jobs. But I thought Donald Trump's tariffs were going to bring manufacturing back to the United States and cause a manufacturing boom. Well, it turns out they've done the exact opposite. We're being taxed more and losing jobs. I mean, it's bad when even Fox News hosts are calling it disappointing and concerning. But it's not just about disappointment, it's about all the families out there that are struggling to make ends meet despite the fact that Trump promised he was going to fix everything wrong with this country. The numbers don't lie. This is not the booming economy that Trump keeps bragging about. It's in a major slowdown under his watch.
Obviously, something really whack is happening with the job market right now, and as somebody who follows the job market for a living, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. So we always talk about how blue-collar manufacturing jobs were offshored to other countries, and there's a lot of truth to that. Since the 1970s, companies have decided to move manufacturing overseas to countries like China, the Philippines, India, Mexico, Vietnam, because it's cheaper. They can reduce prices, increase profits, stay competitive. Capitalism. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that while manufacturing jobs in the US have decreased, manufacturing output has largely stayed the same, and that is due to automation. Factory technology has improved so much that these companies can produce the same amount of goods with less people. Now, I believe that right now the same thing is happening, but not to blue-collar workers, but to white-collar workers. So during the pandemic, a lot of companies had to learn how to work remotely. And since then, they have learned that they no longer need to hire people who are local. You can hire people from anywhere. Why hire an American digital marketer? You have to pay $100,000 a year, healthcare, PTO, benefits, social security, payroll taxes, etc. when you could just hire a comparable contractor in India for $25,000 a year flat. Pair that with AI being able to take over a lot of entry-level tasks and responsibilities. I think I've seen this film before. And the reason I think that people aren't talking about this is because it's invisible. When a factory would shut down, the whole plant would go dark, the town would suffer, it was so tangible. But when a corporation lays off a quarter of their marketing department and brings in contractors from a different country, nobody really notices it. The jobs available to Americans just becomes fewer and fewer. So I feel like maybe we should just start talking about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. You got this, and follow for more.
We are witnessing the biggest job loss in years, which is going to force the Federal Reserve to continue cutting interest rates. The official jobs report by the government was supposed to be released on Friday, October 3rd. However, because the politicians could not agree on a government funding bill on time, the federal government has shut down. And consequently, the Bureau of Labor Statistics did not release the reports. Therefore, people have been relying on the ADP jobs reports, which at least gives us insights into the labor market situation in the private sector. And for the month of September, the ADP report shows that the private sector lost 32,000 jobs. This was the biggest decline in 2.5 years. Another report that we like to look at, regardless of whether the BLS jobs report is released or not, is the Challenger reports. This is on page 1 of the report, and in the chart, I've highlighted the months of 2025. It says, so far this year, companies have announced 946,426 job cuts, the highest year to date since 2020. That is 55% higher compared to the same time period in 2024. And on page 2 of the report, it says, it's very likely job cut plans are going to surpass 1 million for the first time since 2020. Again, we're currently at 946,000, so I would say that surpassing that amount is very likely. And it says that previous periods with this many job cuts occurred either during recessions or during periods of transformative technology. So for here, I mean, of course, they're referring to AI, but I'm going to show you that AI is not responsible for this weakening labor markets. And then it proceeds to say that we're dealing with a stagnating labor markets. Okay, so what does all this mean? It means that the Federal Reserve will be obligated to continue cutting interest rates. So they cut interest rates in September, and they're most likely going to cut interest rates this month as well. Now, shifting back to the labor markets, I want to show you this from page 8 of the Challenger report. So this is going to give you more clarity on the labor market situation, and I found this very interesting. As I mentioned, there have been 946,426 job cuts announced so far this year, right? And here are the reasons that were cited for those cuts. The biggest reason was Doge, directly responsible for 293,000 job cuts, and the downstream impact was 20,000 more. Although Doge was the number one reason, if you look at these, what I've outlined in aggregates, then in my opinion, it's the weaker economy that's responsible for more of the job cuts. Economic conditions are cited for 208,000 cuts, and then you have closings, restructuring, bankruptcy, and cost cutting responsible for a little over 300,000 job cuts. Now, I just want to point out these two categories in specific because they're talked about a lot, and I want to give you the facts and share with you my opinion. The first one is artificial intelligence. AI was directly cited as the cause for 17,375 job cuts. So honestly, and if you compare the numbers, AI has not been responsible for that many job cuts, relatively speaking. However, I'm going to say this again, this is just my opinion. A lot of people are debating whether AI is going to eliminate a massive quantity of jobs in the future. Okay, so I'll tell you this. This number may seem low right now, but I believe that yes, AI is going to eliminate a large quantity of jobs in the years ahead. And another one that I want to point out is the tariffs. Tariffs have been cited as the reason for 5,847 job cuts. I understand that certain sectors and industries have been severely impacted, especially certain farmers. So I'm not going to turn a blind eye to that. But relatively speaking, comparing the numbers, it remains low, at least for now. And I also thought that this was very important to show you as well. According to the most recent JOLTS report, which is released by the government right before the shutdown, it shows that job openings continue to decline. Back in 2022, there were 2 job openings for every unemployed worker. So it was a job seekers market. I mean, this is when employers were competing for workers, when they were trying to attract people with larger pay raises and even hiring bonuses, like good hiring bonuses. It's when people are job hopping around like crazy trying to secure a better deal. But as you can see, and as you probably know, those days are long gone and the situation is getting worse. But now look at how the situation has changed. There's now less than 1 job opening for every unemployed worker. It's clearly an employer's market, and the situation is worse than right before the pandemic. Now, I want to help you understand and interpret the situation better. 1 to 1.5 is considered a normal and balanced labor market. For the past 25 years, we've actually been below that range for a while. Because, I mean, think about what happened. We had the dot-com bubble that burst, and then the labor market was recovering, and then bam, the GFC happened with the housing market crash, and we're recovering from that and getting back up there to normal, and then the pandemic happened. So 1 to 1.5 is considered normal. Above 1.5 is considered a tight labor market where it's hard to get workers. And then when you're below 1, that's considered to have a lot of slack in a recessionary environment. And as you can see, we are now below 1, and take a look at the chart. We're trending downward. And this is why the Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates. They're looking at this and they're trying to revive the economy. They're trying to revive the labor market with an easier monetary policy. And this is the last one that I want to show you. Because we have a slowing labor market, fewer people are quitting. You know, many people are staying put because there's less job security and there's fewer opportunities, as you saw in the decreasing amount of job openings. But listen, none of this, I mean, everything I've been saying, none of this should be a shocker to anyone. However, now you see the data and you better understand how bad the situation is. Okay, when the government reopens and they release their official jobs reports, I'm going to cover that. I'll share that with you. Until then, please subscribe. Thank you for the support, and I wish you a very nice day. Take care.
Gen Z is currently experiencing the worst job market since 2009, a time when our economy was still recovering after the 2008 financial collapse. Recent reports show that hiring in the U.S. economy is the lowest it's been since 2009. And all of our recent monthly job report numbers either show net loss or certain gains in some sectors with part-time work. One of the only reasons why we're not technically in a recession is because AI data centers are driving up the U.S. stock market and our economy's growth. If you take out AI data centers, US GDP only grew 0.1% in the first half of this year, which is to say that all the other sectors in our economy are completely stagnant. Hiring is at a historic low and layoffs are happening on the margins. You may not see that when we consistently hear about how well the stock market is doing. If and when this AI bubble pops, we could see a historic recession, one where we experience both negative growth and inflation.
So I saw this TikTok yesterday, and all I could say is, well, duh. Just like that one tweet said, people losing their jobs that have never lost their jobs before. Like, we are truly, not to be Miss Doom and Gloom, but this is a timeline that I don't think anyone ever saw coming unless you're Kit Kat Ridge and you lived through the Great Depression. But I don't know if I ever shared this. Around literally this time last year, I got laid off. And a literal year later, I finally got a big girl job with benefits, salary, the whole 9 yards. Mind you, I graduated in 2021. This might be the first place that has offered me benefits. Okay, we are living in a dark timeline. But while on my way to my new office, I got 2 rejection emails from places that I had applied to locally. So let's talk about one of my least favorite spreadsheets I've ever made on the planet Earth, called the Forever Big Girl Job Hunt. So there's Alexa's Great Job Hunt and the Forever Big Girl the Forever Big Girl Job Hunt. This is the one I started after I got laid off. And this one I restarted, I think in in the process of me getting laid off. Also, I want to mention the fact that this is 11 pages long. It's 11 pages long. And I always updated it by the job, the company, when I applied and when I heard back. And the Forever Big Girl Job Hunt, I don't even know if I spelled torture right, because y'all know I'm dyslexic. I did the job, the company, when I applied, when I interviewed, the response, and then comments on the company. Y'all, there was a place I applied to in November that just responded back to me like, hey girl, did all 3 rounds of interviews. Talking about some, hey girl, yeah, we actually decided to go in another direction. No duh. Then the place that I was low-key trying to hold out for that was a little bit more local, they ghosted me, or so I thought. I get an email back from the guy saying, oh, your email got lost in my thing, but yeah, we filled the role. No duh. So how to go back and update this one. So how to go back to my spreadsheet, because I'm a spreadsheet queen. All right. The way that my ADD brain works is that I need structure. So got declined 2 weeks later, and then I updated for the one I actually got. So be patient with your friends, your family members that are actually looking for a job in this, because now they're also competing with federal employees, people in tech, some of these oh my goodness, these industries that everybody and their mom are like, oh, if you get a job in this, you're good for life. No, you're not. Nobody is safe. Oh, and huge shout out to this trifling company. Wealth management is so funny, because these people are like, yeah, we manage over we started off with $3 million of wealth that we manage, and now we manage over $15,000 of wealth. But also, whoever's our social media / marketing person, we want them to only work for us, because if they have another job, then what if they get a better opportunity? We prefer for them to stay with us. But also at the same time, we only want to pay this person $1,000 a month. And I was like, have you guys thought about an intern? Because you're not offering benefits. You basically want somebody to build your social media and your digital marketing from the ground up, and they can't have another job for only $1,000 a month. Needless to say, I very much did get that rejection email the same day.
I think we've been in a stealth recession for a year or more. So
we are witnessing the biggest job loss in years, which is going to force the Federal Reserve to continue cutting interest rates. The official jobs report by the government was supposed to be released on Friday, October 3rd. However, because the politicians could not agree on a government funding bill on time, the federal government has shut down. And consequently, the Bureau of Labor Statistics did not release the reports.
I just quit my job of 20 years in what is one of the worst job markets we've ever seen, and I want to explain why. I am a 20-year career coaching veteran. I started out in HR and recruiting and quickly saw that a lot of really talented people were not getting hired, right? And if they had gotten a little coaching about their interview and their resume and their presence, that they could land those jobs. And so I left corporate America and the HR recruiting industry and hopped to the other side. And that was over 20 years ago. And I decided to become a career coach because I just loved helping people find those new, better paying jobs and seeing that they had the skills. They just needed to know how to market themselves. Fast forward many years, I have one of the largest, most well-known career coaching platforms online in the world. It's called workitdaily.com. And we have literally helped tens of thousands of people over that time. And this month I quit being a job search coach. I did. And I want to tell you why. Because jobs as we know it are dead. As someone who's been in the industry this long and has access to so much information and sees what's happening with AI in corporate America, I can't coach you how to fix your resume anymore because everyone's using fake resumes and bots, so recruiters don't trust them. I can't teach you how to work through the ATS system, the applicant tracking system, because 10,000 people are applying and you're never getting a shot. It's a terrible job market. But most importantly, I can't keep in good faith teaching people to go after a full-time job with benefits when I know they're going away. Companies don't want more employees, they want less. Employees are unreliable and expensive. They're replacing people every single day with technology. And what we're shifting to, as someone, again, who's studied this for many years, is what they'll call a second renaissance or the digital renaissance. So if you go back and look up the Renaissance era, people were learning new things, trying new things. It was a very creative era. We are coming into that creative era, which means we're also coming full circle and you won't work for other companies. You know, this idea of working for a company and getting a single job with benefits started in about the 1850s. And it trained us to think that's the only way to live. But what a horrible way to live right now. And I can't in good faith anymore keep trying to coach people to go after a full-time job with benefits when I know it's the freaking Hunger Games out there right now. Lord of the Flies, for those of you that are older. It's everyone fighting for themselves, everyone protecting themselves, nobody helping each other because they're just trying to hold on to their own job. That's not going to get better for a while. But while all that mess is going on, over here, nobody's paying attention to the new economy that's being built. And it doesn't have full-time jobs with benefits, but it does have lots of different ways for you to take what you already know, all this experience that you've already built, and use it in new ways to make money. It's called an economy because it feeds itself. This is blowing up. There's so much data to support it, but nobody is talking about it. So I am quitting. I am not going to be a job search coach for full-time jobs anymore. And I've moved completely over to this concept of monetizing your mind. And that's the YouTube training that I launched last week as part of the announcement of quitting my job. It's here. It's free. You just pop an email address in so I know where to send it to you. You'll find it linked in my bio or linked down here, depending on where you're watching me. This training is built to help people understand. I can't teach you to go after a full-time job anymore. They're not going to exist. And before you get worried about, well, where will I get my benefits? Where will I get my money? All of this is coming together in a new way. But you need to understand it. And that's what this training does. It breaks it down and helps you understand what's happening. The sooner you understand it, the sooner you can move yourself towards a model where you will have income security, not job security, because job security doesn't exist anymore, my friends. And that's why I'm no longer a job search career coach. Income security exists when you learn how to monetize your mind. I hope this inspires you to watch this video. I hope you send it to a friend. I am trying to start a movement. Like I said, I am done doing something that I can't help people with anymore because it's dying. But I can help you with this. I can help you monetize your mind, okay? I love you all. Ask questions. Let me show you the way. Like and follow me here. I'm not going to stop talking about this. This is my new job. This is my new mission. And I'm going to help truly hundreds of thousands of people monetize their minds in 2026 and beyond because they're going to learn to pivot and stop hanging on to false hope that they're ever going to get a full-time job with benefits again. Okay? Good luck. Go get them.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now. We have a 94% prediction rate that the recession is going to come, but yet our freaking administration hasn't even made the move to actually say that a recession is coming. And let's actually call it what it is, a depression. People can't afford groceries, they can't afford rent, they can't afford buying houses, they can't afford having babies, they can't afford having the kids in general if they already have them. We are not in a good spot, y'all. I know that I'm just a number in a company, but I thought I was okay. You're going to think that you're okay because you've worked there for so long or you have the right experience. Like, you guys, I have an undergraduate in marketing, a master's in business, 6 years of paid social media experience, both on a strategist and manager level. I have done people management for at least 3 years. I'm a senior level in my career. And yet, when I was hired to do a senior level role, I was forced into entry level positions. I was doing entry-level work as a senior-level strategist, all while at the same time being asked to reduce my workload with AI, and our team was having layoffs every 3 months. I should have seen it coming. I really should have. But the thing is that it was not something that I saw coming, because the day before that they laid me off, I was literally talking coverage plans with another employee who was going on leave for months. How am I supposed to sit there and not think that I'm safe in that moment? I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that we live in a world like this where my manager wasn't even the one that fired me, by the way, or laid me off. It was freaking HR, and they read off a script, but my whole team got laid off. And this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now. My partner is a first responder, so I'm very lucky for the fact that I can be leaning on him for support right now, because luckily his job is secure, thanks to the fact that number one, his job is essential, and number two, he has a union behind him. What I will never understand is why corporate agencies have not unionized. We're not allowed, right? We're not allowed. That's part of it. We'll get fired because at least in this corporate world, they're always going to side on the side of business because that's what's making the government money. This world right now is not supporting people. It is supporting business. You are just a number, unfortunately. So please prepare yourself for shit like this. I wish I would have. I wish I'd been applying to other jobs months ago. I just was so dumb to not realize the signs. I want to talk about it. I think people need to talk about it. I think we need to make this more public. We all saw the jobs report. It was awful. Getting laid off on the day that the jobs report goes out, and it's 22,000 instead of 75,000 new jobs. You know how discouraging that is? If you know of anything in the marketing space, let me know. Use my comments as a way in which to maybe trauma dump. I don't care, vent. I'm here for you guys. I can't believe this. And I'm really sorry if you're going through this too. Here for you.
If you are currently looking to get a job at a restaurant or at a retail store, your chances are very low. One of the main reasons that I don't see brought up is the fact that a lot of businesses are still operating with the same staff numbers that they had during the peak of COVID. Meaning that in like 2020, if they had 15 people, previously they probably had 30. And they keep cutting and cutting because they see that it's working for them. Even if they're struggling, they're still getting by. A lot of people in upper management are comfortable with that. They don't have to deal with the stuff on the ground floor. So the people who are on the ground, they have to go through all these like doubles or picking up shifts. They're not going to hire more people for that. The only way someone else is getting on board is if someone who's already on staff quits.
The job market in 2025 is absolutely cooked. I cannot believe how many people are underestimating just how bad the corporate job market is in 2025. I've been in recruiting for a decade, and I've worked with hundreds of hiring managers. I've worked with thousands of candidates to find jobs, and I've never seen candidates struggle as much as they are in this job market. They even released the latest data about jobs added to the economy, and they had to revise it by over 1 million jobs. We're continuing to see hundreds of thousands of layoffs, and when people get laid off, they are finding that the average job search isn't taking 1 to 2 months. It's taking 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. A lot of people are having to wait over a year to find a new job. They're having to apply to hundreds of thousands of jobs. They're not hearing back from companies. They're going through processes and then getting ghosted. And at the end of it, if they are the lucky one that gets the job offer, they are getting lowballed. So whatever they were targeting, they are not getting that. It's absolutely brutal. And so if you know someone who's on the job market, someone that's looking for a job, please do not judge them. It is not easy right now. It's extremely brutal. And 2025 is absolutely cooked.
Job hunting in this current climate is not for the weak at all. It is very trying. As somebody who is known amongst their friends as somebody who can always get a new job, no bother, no issue, this job market showed me something I have never seen before. I was going to interviews with big government organizations and not getting any feedback. Like interviews that I was prepping for, spending hours and hours to prep for, get to the interview. And I even thought the interview went well, and I'm chasing the recruiter for weeks. Jobs that were paying close to like 80K 2 years ago, they now want you to do the same job, same level of hard work, but like 35K. Well, no. Like the amount of jobs I have seen, and I feel like for me, I'm trying to escape project management. So it was very easy to want to slip back into PM because I knew I'd quickly get a job. I actually did get a permanent job offer that was aligned with project management, but I just remembered my mental health and I had to withdraw. I have got a new job, which isn't in that space. I will post a video about it, but just to encourage you people that are looking for work, that it's been months, it's been some people almost a year or even longer, please give yourself all the grace. You are not alone in this. The job market is crazy. This is not a reflection of your skill set or your ability to work. It is a reflection of the current job market. Please ignore these people on the app that are doing, if you can't get a job in 2 weeks, there's something with your CV. If you can't get a job in 2 weeks, you're in this job market. That's all it is. You're not bad. You haven't missed the mark on anything. It is just a horrible time to be job hunting. And I, like, my thoughts and prayers go out to all of us because I got a temporary job. I still need to find a permanent one, but it will all work out.
So, ladies and gentlemen, You know, it really truly is a dog eat dog world, because you see, these wealthy people that own many of these corporations, they don't care about you. They just will let you go. And the thing is, they're right. There's no such thing as job security. Talk to some of the people that are getting laid off. They've been there for 20 years, 10 years, 13 years. Some of these federal employees, I've seen them online. I saw a sister, and she was there for 17 years. And she got one of those Donald Trump emails letting her go. 17 years. So seniority is the thing of the past. Seniority used to save you before, but seniority is absolutely nothing now. It is nothing. They don't care how little or how long you've been there. They don't care. They don't care. And they have been letting, and I've been looking at the market, they've been letting a lot of people go that are close to retiring. I saw one, and it was a white woman. She was 1 year away from retiring, and she got fired. So that's the kind of market is out here right now. And no, you can't expect these folks to care. They don't care. Mm-mm. Their hearts are going to grow more wicked as we start getting closer and closer to the end. They don't care about anybody, not even their own people, because many of them are out here struggling. And you can see them crying all over the video. They're sad. They don't know what to do. They can't see, before people could get fired, and a week later, back in the day, I used to know some people that got fired, and less than a week later, they have another job, get hired somewhere else. It ain't like that no more, y'all. It ain't like that no more. Mm-mm. So when the Most High says you are through, you are through. It is nothing these folks can do to make this place better. They can't do it. And he's not going to let them do it. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Be on the lookout for the Bible study, which should be coming up in about maybe a little over an hour. Shalom, family.